Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Michael Clara Arts. So, in my never-ending quest, it seems like, to find the ultimate marker at a decent price point, and that's the key right there, I have purchased on the, not request, on the, got stuff falling off from my desk here. On the suggestion of one of my YouTube viewers, I don't even know how to pronounce this word, Ohuhu. So these particular markers were purchased off of Amazon for about 27 bucks. There's 48 markers in here. So in terms of price point, they are awesome. Awesome price point. 48 markers for less than 30 bucks. That is wonderful. And just by what I see right now, the quality, fit, and finish looks pretty good. Overall, they're a little light. So that kind of tells me something. What it tells me is there's not a lot of ink in there. So, I've already opened the package. I've already gone through and I've seen the colors. I haven't used them at all. I just opened the cap and I was like, ooh, colors, markers. This standard right here, this particular marker right here, kind of spoils us. The Copic markers. I'm sure you're seeing that backwards. Copic markers are the industry standard. That's the reality. And, their colors are fantastic. Their saturation is really good. The brush is really good. And they last a decent amount of time. The challenge that I have with Copic markers is the fact they're $10 a piece. I mean, $10 a piece. That is astronomical, Copic. And you know what you got, right? You know what you got. And you pay for performance. That's kind of whenever I used to restore cars back in the day. You pay for performance, And I'm going through these markers and I'm going to review them. And one of the things that kind of bounced out to me, number one, is the price. Number two, it came in a really cool case. And number three, it came in with a little plastic hand, like a hand protector. And they printed, you can see right there, the text. It says, if you're coloring on thin paper, please put this pad between color sheets to prevent any bleed through. And that was included in the package, which is pretty cool. The packaging is standard. It's got like a ballistic nylon case with a zipper. And just so you guys can see, all the markers in their native environment. See, there's a lot of colors in there. You've got, looks like some neons, some earth tones, a lot of blues, black, and it looks like there's possibly a blender in there too. Cool, great. Yeah, there is a blender, so that's pretty cool. So, Ohuhu, I'm going to tag you in the description, and if there's an alternate set of markers that you would like me to review, Ohuhu, then I would love to do it. Because what I'm going to do is I've already drawn a little illustration for you guys with my eyebrows going up and down. And we're going to color it with markers. If you look at the background, you see all those illustrations right there. Those are traditional illustrations. And I love markers. I love markers mainly because they, you can create kind of a watercolory, that is even a phrase, watercolory feel to them without having to deal with all the mess that is watercolors. First of all, I love watercolors. I'm not putting down on them at all. But it is a little messy, and you have to prepare things a little bit different when you start doing watercolors. I've done watercolors before, not on this channel, because, frankly, I kind of suck at it. And that's one of my earmarked things in my tool belt that I need to develop, watercolors. But I love markers. So let's get into reviewing the markers. I'm not doing a color saturation test. I know that a lot of people have done that. They're like, saturation, hidden saturation. We're going to compare contrasts. We're going to look at all of them. This is very scientific. This is the way I do things. I'm not doing that, dude, because I know you wouldn't do that. I'm going to take the markers. I'm going to use them exactly the way that you would use them, which is I'm going to draw with them and I'm going to color with them and I'm going to see how they fly. I've got a whole collection of markers, guys. Some people suggested Winsor and Newton. Every time I say Winsor and Newton, my pinky has to go up, and I have to raise my right eyebrow and say it with a little bit of a dignity. Winsor and Newton. And, you know, then I've got their, I don't know what this is. It says brush marker. And then you've got this piece of garbage, which is basically pigment marker. So this one has the wedge, not the brush. So I love the brush, Winsor & Newton's. The wedge, not so much. And plus there's a flaw in the cap when you go to put it on. It destroys the wedge. So thanks, Winsor & Newton. Then, of course, we've got another industry standard, which is Prismacolor. I love these markers. Prismacolor does have a brush line, which I own, and also has a wedge line. And they're fantastico. I've also bought Spectra markers. I don't have a problem, do I? Maybe I do. Maybe I've got many problems. And, of course, I've got Copic. Copic, you have to say with a deep voice because you're serious when you start dealing with Copic markers. You don't want to screw around with these things. $10 a piece. So that's why I don't want to screw around with them. Winsor & Newton are about $7.99. Prismas are about $5.99 to $6 a piece. And then I started like, markers are markers. I'm just going to deal with it the way I can because I'm not made of money. So then I purchased these. I think I got these from Michael's. And Soho Studio. Soho Studio. You need to say it like that every time. Soho Studio. And then, of course, we've got the Prisma knockoffs from the $5 store that I utilize. And at one point in time, I did have those chameleon markers, and they sucked. Chameleon markers sucked. Because it didn't have a really wide tip, and they were chameleon markers, although they were constructed like tanks. And I was like, wow, this is the most amazing marker I've ever seen in my life. Whenever you start using it, you start really realizing that it's a niche marker, meaning, you know, it's specifically geared towards a specific type of artist wanting to do gradients. I'm like, I'm not really interested in doing gradients. I can blend and stuff like that. And the methodology that I use whenever I draw and use markers, I'll draw a picture, I'll put it's exactly the way I work in Photoshop. I'll put baseline down, then I'll start working in, putting cool grays down and complementary colors, and then I'll come back with color pencils because you can't really highlight after you've put down markers. You have to use color pencils. So, that being said, let's get in and do the Ohuhu review. So here's the sketch that I did a few days ago in preparation for the marker review. The markers give you a little bit better view of how I received them. Go ahead and zipper. So here's the packaging right here. Ohuhu. Came in this really nice case. It's got a little handle. And here's all the markers right here. As you see, there's just a lot of markers overall. 48 total. Nice spectrum of pastels. You have some primaries in there. You have quite a few greens, blues, so on and so forth. So I'm very happy with the selection of markers. So let's go ahead and review an individual. So let's just pick one. Okay, so Ohuhu, everything's printed, nothing's embossed. So you'll have it's called a tampo print, where they have a little piece of rubber or some type of material that they'll stamp in ink, similar to an ink stamp, and then you go and you stamp it, and that's what this is. What I don't like about this, first and foremost, is the fact that, let's see, is over time you can scratch these off. Now these are on there pretty good. So maybe they printed them and put like a clear coat on them. Now, if you look on Copic markers, it's similar. So they have a tampo print as well. And they've got a tampo print on the side as well. So I can't really complain with regards to that. And then you have something like Prismacolor marker, which is just a sticker. It's just a sticker. So you know, in some of the higher end, let me see if I can find it like this right here. Yeah, so these markers right here, these brush markers made by Winsor and Newton, these are stickers as well. And you can peel these off, which sucks. So I guess in that respect, maybe this isn't so bad. So let's get started. I always will typically leave a little bit of area over on the left-hand side, you know, to do a test, especially in this context, because I know, let's go ahead and choose a brown. Let's choose brown. I have a darker brown here. I don't know what this is. Darker brown, maybe a yellow. So I'm doing an owl this morning. This particular illustration, just something I came up with, you know, nothing tied to any story concept or anything like that. The weight of the marker. So the weight of the marker is typically a telltale sign of its quality. Weigh in. This is pretty decent. Yeah, the Copics are a little bit heavier. And that has to do with the ink content. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so there's two sides to it. You have a broad and you have a brush. And if you notice, there's this little notch right here that has to do with if it's on kind of if it is on a flat surface or slightly elevated, this will prevent it from rolling off of the desk. If you look at some of the other markers I have, like this one, you can see again they have that little notch right there. And if you look at Prisma will have the little notch as well to help prevent it from rolling off of your desk. And of course, Copic markers are oval, and just by nature of gravity, they don't typically like to roll. Now, I have a very high angle of attack on here, so that's what I'm dealing with. So all my stuff rolls off regardless. Okay, so let's prep the drawing a little bit better. I'm working on Bristol board this morning. For me, Bristol board is one of the better surfaces to utilize markers on because you don't have a lot of tooth, and the tooth tends to, how do I put it? It depends on what you're trying to go for. If you're going for a watercolory look, yes, you want some tooth. Tooth, of course, being the texture of the paper and how quick the media absorbs into the paper itself. So let's go ahead and let's do a little test. Ooh, that's dark. Okay, so let's look. That's pretty close. Let's do a lighter brown. That's pretty good. So yeah, in terms of matching, they look pretty good so far. Let's do the yellow. That's a really warm yellow. See, you have to take into account that I went over that like 3 or 4 times. And then if you look at the periphery, so if I just do one stroke, yeah, so in terms of one stroke, that's what it looks like. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and use this one. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start drawing, having some fun. All right. Feathers are very, how do I put it? They're layers. It's like an onion. There's layers. There's layers of feathers. There's different types of feathers, and on owls, depending on which owl you are drawing, you're going to have a different type of kind of quote-unquote texture as you go through. So as you see, I'm utilizing the white of the paper as the highlight. Okay, go here. And the direction of the feathers makes a difference as well. Now, I did look at the instructions here. It came with a little set of instructions here. The Ohuhu markers. I have the Honolulu series. So one side, of course, is the chisel. One side is the brush. So if we go through, it gives me kind of an overview and a sample of an illustration done with the markers. And they give you different sets, and it shows you different sets. It says the Oahu, Honolulu, the Maui, and the Lanai. So obviously there's a Hawaiian-based reference to this. It says, what are they doing? Affordable art supplies don't have to be cut out corners on quality. That's why they're always trying to do the best that they do. And so far, I mean, the fit and finish and the quality is really good. So what's really cool is they also say, hey, if the tip of the brush gets all blanked up, you can basically pull it out and you reverse it, and then you have a nice sharp tip, which is pretty cool. I wonder if that's true on the Copics. That makes me think. What's really cool is the facts. It says I got a dried out marker upon arrival, and then they'll send you a free replacement. It's dried out on multiple uses. A free replacement is on their way. The pen is bleeding when I open it. A free replacement. I got duplicates. Free replacement. The ink bleed through the paper. It says extra blank sheet of paper, blah, 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 and a full refund is on its way if that's unacceptable, and a defective bag, and they'll send you a free bag. So there's a lot going on with this particular brand. So they want to differentiate themselves from the other markers in the marketplace, which I think is awesome. You know, two, they're trying to answer the common questions that might occur or issues that might occur in the supply chain. So I work in manufacturing of toys and, you know, action figures and collectibles and stuff like that. And there's always going to be that sort of production chain issue. And whether you resolve it early in the supply chain or later in the supply chain will heavily depend on your manufacturers, your developers, and overall, you know, your product. If you have, you're cutting corners early on the product, then it's going to show up later in the production chain, you know. And then, of course, you never want a product to fail after it is shipped, because it reflects poorly on your customer experience. And as we all know, customer experience is key. So you want to work out a lot of those issues beforehand. And it seems that Ohuhu is interested in sort of, you know, they've identified a few issues in their supply, and they're like, instead of going and giving us a bad review, you know, give us a call, give us an email, and here's the issue, and this is how we resolved it. So I think that's pretty cool. So far, the springiness of the tip, now that's a big thing for me. The springiness of the tip is really nice. It doesn't fold under the pressure and weight of my hand. And the color coverage is really nice. I'm not seeing a drop off just yet. Of course, it is a brand new marker. You know, one of the telltale signs of a good quality marker, obviously, is its longevity. And, you know, as expensive as markers are today, you want them to last more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. You want them to last, I mean, obviously, as a customer, I want stuff to last forever. Why don't my Copic markers last for 10 years? That is ludicrous, right? Man, I paid $10 for this 10 years ago. I mean, $1 a year, and I've done 40 illustrations. Yeah, that's unreasonable. Unreasonable. So far, I like, and two, I like the fact that I can go into a really tapered tip, or I can kind of put it over on its side, and I'm not getting a lot of bleed in. Now let's look. I'm gonna look on the back of this really quick. Okay, so that's not too bad. Not too heavy-handed. And it dries really quick. As you see, with markers, you know, on the Bristol board, it soaks into the paper really, really quick. And it just looks really nice. So the way that I use markers, if you've been on my channel before, you know that I love markers. I am putting in the warm shadows right now. And in a second, hopefully, let me see. There's not a, what is this? Dark yellow. So let's look what this looks like. Oh, okay. Pretty nice, pretty nice. I use markers similar to what I do in Photoshop. And I put my color flats in, then I go in, I put my shadows in, and then finally I'll put my highlights in. It's very, it's a very good thing. No, it's a good practice to, especially if you're working on white paper. I don't typically work on white paper. I will work on, let me move this really quick. I've got stuff stacked. It's like, do you guys do that? Your desk is like, it's teetering on the edge of everything falling over. I feel like they did include this right here. Now this is really cool because if you want to put your hand down and then you want to, do some illustration work, you can, which is really nice. But I think it's designed primarily to put underneath. So like under here, like so. So it doesn't soak through to the next page, which is nice. So now what I'm already seeing is, I think putting it in and out, I'm getting a little bit of ink on the sides here, which I don't like because it makes for a very messy marker. And then what inadvertently happens is you're drawing, and then your finger will touch right here and you'll get marker on your finger. So I don't like that. So I see a little bit of a flaw so far. Okay, so let's continue. All right. It is allergy season right now up here in the mountains. And let me tell you something. I'm surrounded by foliage. It's like foliage explosion. So living in the forest, which I've done for quite a few years up here in the mountains of North Georgia, right on the border of North Carolina, we, of course, we have seasons. And this is something that I really had to quote unquote, get used to. Because I lived in Florida for so many years, and in Florida you have 2 seasons. Basically you have spring and summer. And you have a couple days where it gets in the 50s and 60s, and of course whenever it gets in the 20s, oh my gosh, you think that the world was going to end, because man, you gotta hunker down, you gotta bring in your animals. This is what happens whenever it gets too cold. And of course, after it gets down in the 30s, and once you breach that 30-degree mark, then they have a huge industry down there, the citrus industry. So they'll send their correspondent out, and he'll go into the orange groves, and you'll see these sprinklers that are shooting water out to the citrus to freeze the citrus, because the ice, if it gets down to the 20s, it can actually damage the citrus. And, the ice will encapsulate the citrus and protect it. And it actually make it a little bit sweeter, which is nice. But living up here, we have seasons. So we have, all 4. And, when I first moved up here, I was like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then of course spring came, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. Oh my gosh, I'm coughing all the time. Look at all the pollen, it's covering everything. And I'm allergic to chenopod's, which are ferns, and oak. So when you have, and different like dogwood and some other poplar, like a poplar tree, I'm kind of sensitive to. So if you hear me kind of clear my throat a little bit, my apologies. Allergies are brutal. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone in and I've just blanketed this area. So now what I want to do is I want a little bit darker, but I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put him up here. Let's go to the next marker. I guess this is a darker brown, maybe? Let's say terracotta. This one is raw umber. Raw umber's dark. Okay. And it doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't show that it's really dark, but whenever you open the cap, that's pretty dark. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the thing is with markers is once you put the stroke down, it's like, oh, you kind of have to, you live with it. So I'm going to switch tips here. Okay. I'm going to switch the tip. Always being conscious of maybe a highlight coming from the upper right-hand side. So I don't want to go in and blanket. You know, I'm going to have a little bit of highlight going in because I'm going to go back here in just a second. You're going to see what I'm going to do. Just a second. With a different hue of marker. Let's go ahead and do this. The feathers come down. Okay, so now what I can do, since I've kind of blocked that in a little bit, yeah, see what I'm doing is I'll go in and I'll put it in and I'll hit that edge. So that's the only thing that's happening. User error. User error. So let's get the beak. Okay, so I'm going to switch the tip. We're going to go to wedge. That's pretty nice. It feels good. It's not, it doesn't catch on anything. So let's go back. I'll switch over to brush. Yeah, switching the tip. Okay. Yeah, something's wrong with me. I'm sorry. What's great too about alcohol markers is you layer them. You layer to make it darker and darker because it keeps going in, saturating. And I don't have to worry about it bleeding through because I've got my handy dandy plastic mat that they included. They're so nice. Okay. Put that in there. Let's go back to the other color. Good. Okay. I gotta make sure that I got the right color here because I don't want to mess things up. There's no mess ups. It's just happy. There's tons of happiness happening right now. I'm so happy. Why isn't this working? I'm just so happy. I'm just kidding. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. Where is... Flesh. Hey, speaking of flesh, and this is just a little pet peeve of mine. So, I've owned a lot of cars in my day. Just so you're aware, I've owned, I think 34 cars. And you're like, holy crap, 34? Yeah, I've been a car guy for a long time. And those of you who are not car people, shame on you. I'm just kidding. Who are not car people, that's fine. These are blending really well, by the way. The alcohol is seeping in. And you can see I've got a nice little general highlight on those eyes. You see I used the paper, and then I went back with the lighter hue of the brown. I just had a squirrel moment, didn't I? Squirrel. Okay, so what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Okay. Cars. So I've owned a lot of cars in my day. And, you know, currently we own, I own 3 cars. One was given to us, and the other 2, one's my wife's, and of course one's mine. Mine's been out of commission because of mechanical issues that are hopefully going to get fixed soon. And then my wife's vehicle is a 2015 Jeep Wrangler. So I've owned, this will be our third Jeep in the family. My vehicle's a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And, you know, it's got a neutral color silver. I'm not really keen on that. I like bright colors, personally, for vehicles. But have you ever seen a vehicle that looks like a Band-Aid? The color is Band-Aid. I look at that, and it makes me just like... And, of course, they're going to name it something like Desert Sunrise or, you know, Sand Pocket. You know what I call it? I call it Band-Aid. Horrible. And those of you, that would be terrible if one of my users is like, the color of my vehicle is Desert Rampage. But it's actually Band-Aid. Anyway, I just don't like vehicles that are skin color. Hey, dude, that's a cool, sweet color of your vehicle. What is that? It's called arm. It's the color of my arm. Yeah. So you see, I'm layering in the darker, still keeping some highlights. And you see, even having just that little bit of white in there helps it. Helps it. And I'm not going in and doing this. I'm just slightly hitting some of those areas that need a little bit more contrast, as per the feathers in the underlying fur tuft of the owl. I love doing owls. Has anybody ever found an animal that it speaks to them? And you're like, brah, it's your spirit animal. Just spirit animal. No, I don't believe any of that. But I do like me some owls. They speak to me. Not really, they don't speak to me. They're outside my window at night. These are, okay, so I'm putting a lot of material down. I'm not seeing any seepage, which is really good. And it's not buckling the paper. Some markers put so much material down so quickly that it will actually cause the paper to buckle, and I'm not seeing this so far. So these are pretty good. You know what makes them really good? And I'm going to say it over and over again. They're not $10 a piece. I think, like I said before, I think we're all looking, if you're a marker person, you're looking for that alternative that is just as good as your Copic. Now, are these as good as Copic? I don't know, guys. These are pretty good. And I've got a buttload of Copics, and I've used Copics for years. The thing what I like about Copics is the, and this is something that you have to realize, which makes them different. I believe that is a PMS reference. The 29, R29, 99, G99. Or there is a, let me see, neutral gray number 6, cool gray 6, neutral gray 6. What are we looking at? RIV 63. I'm not sure. Well, I could be wrong. They might not be PMS color-coded reference where you can just pull up the PMS reference. And then again, they might have a diagram that you can cross-reference different colors. PMS being Pantone, which is kind of the industry standard for spot color. You know, if you're doing t-shirts, if you're doing, you know, offset printing, if you're doing painting of action figures, there's going to be a PMS reference. You know, not everything can be CMYK. Not everything can, you know, be printed using 4-color process. Cost-wise, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, I need to print 2 colors, I need to print 1 color, I need to do spot colors. There's certain colors in the spectrum that certain properties use. You know, your like your Dr. Seuss red, like your a really good example is if you follow college sports, their logos always use PMS reference colors because it's a specific type of orange and there's a mixture, and that's a PMS color. There's a mixture of orange, like Gator Orange, Florida State, maroon and gold, 871, depending on the application, if it's a metallic or a non-metallic. So, okay. So far, I like the markers a lot. I'm not feeling any bend. We're getting consistent flow. We're not having any explosions. It's not leaking out the tip. I like the roundness of it. I like the overall feel. The weight's good. Let me move this over just a little bit. The weight is good. I like it. Ohuhu markers. Who would have thought? Somebody recommended me to them on my channel because I was complaining. I was a complainer. Nobody likes complainers, dude. Well, I had to let everybody know because my opinion matters, right? Because I'm online. No. Your opinion is nothing. No. What I was basically iterating was the quality of the Copic marker and some of the other markers is really high, but it's the cost. I think the biggest thing for these markers that's going to be the mitigating factor of whether or not I'll purchase them again is whether or not I get a coupon. Coupon. No. Speaking of coupon, there's a place here in town, Walgreens, and there's a worker, and every time I go in, she asks me if I have any coupons. I'm like, what? Coupon? Do you have any coupons? And I thought, what the heck's a coupon? Is that some weird disease? And then I started going in my brain. I'm like, what rhymes with coupon? Poopin. Poupon, like Grey Poupon. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Anyway, it's just part of her accent. It's fun. As I make fun of her. Just kidding. She's a great lady. But the first time I heard her, I'm like, coupon. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I go over to Band-Aid. Just kidding, I'm not using that. Okay, gonna warm it up a little bit. We're gonna warm it up a little bit. Get rid of some of those white highlights in there. We're gonna warm it. It's gonna warm it up just a little bit. It's just so nice. We got some feathers here and there. We're not gonna go in and render it or anything like that. Maybe we'll put a happy tree in the background, and then everything will be fine, and all the screams that you hear in your dreams, those will be silenced. Screams in my dreams. Just kidding. Yeah, these are good. I'm not, like I said, again, I'm not getting any smears or anything like that on my hand as I go over. Nice bounce to the tip. And I'm enjoying it. It's got a feathers right here. This is a mixture. There's the feathers right here. You can have a little bit here and there. And it's just so nice. And yeah, these are fun. Copic alternative. How do they fly? So far, they fly straight and narrow. Gonna be on the straight and narrow. Not too long ago, I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Oh, it's such a good movie. Has to be one of my favorite movies of all time. I like Dahmer. That's it, boys. I'm saved. I'm on the straight and narrow from now on. I've been forgiven of all my sins, including that Piggly Wiggly I knocked over in Yazoo.
I thought you was innocent of those charges.
I lied. Wonderful, wonderful movie. Okay, so now I've blocked in the overall. We're going to give him some blue eyes. Blue eyes, blue eyes. Yeah, blue eyes. Okay, we're going to block in a little bit of gray. Again, the tip is wonderful. The tip. I like the tip. Just the tip. Okay, go down. Good.
Now we're going to go and we're going to grab our pinkish hue.
Let's see how dark this one is. Start out light. Good. Oh, that's like neon. Neon. Let's go this. Here we go. This is deep red. Deep. We're going deep. Okay. Good, 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 good. Man, I love them. And the fact that I only paid $28 for 48 of them. I gotta order some more. That's all there is to it. Okay, let's... Ooh, purple. What is this? Sky blue. We're not doing that one. Let's find purple, purple. Where are you? Purple. Kind of a light purple. Oh, wait a minute. Lavender. Wait a minute, did I get doubles? Is that a double? Nope.
Can you tell the difference between pastel violet and mauve shadow? I don't think you can.
Let's check them. Okay, I like it. That one is a little more saturated. So pastel violet's a little more saturated, and the mauve shadow is not so saturated. Okay, so here's... Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, you're going to see I'm going to start putting in some of these little bit of shadows here and there. And I think I might actually, because what's going to happen is this marker is going to pull some of the brown off. And it's actually not as dark as I would like it to be. You know, I don't typically use your grays, your you know, if it's going to be gray, it's going to be cool gray. Right? I'll use grays for shadows, but I don't use grays or black. I don't like using black for shadows, obviously, because it would destroy my illustration. So let's do, okay, so cool gray 4. A little marker over here. Let's do this. It's going to be cool. Cool. Nice. Nice. And that cool has a lot of blue in it. It's similar to like a Payne's gray. And as it mixes and it goes into that brown, you see we're getting a little bit of the blue from here mixing with a little bit of the yellow, and it's turning a little bit green, which I kind of like. Me like it. Me like it. Me like it. Putting in that shadow right there. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Where is that purple? Where's that red? That might be too. That's like red. That's like slap your face red. Whoosh.
Let's go a little bit purpley pink. Do we like that one?
That's a little neon. A little bit of red around his eyes where the blood flow is. Okay.
A little bit here and there.
Just a hint. Okay. Pretty good. turn it up a little bit. Let's turn it up. Anybody watch the new Mortal Kombat movie yet? Everybody's talking about it.
Let's do some purple again. I'm going to do purple. Not too much purple. It's going to be just a little bit of purple, because purple's my favorite. You know, pink's my favorite too, but green's actually my one favorite. I do like all the colors. Colors are good, but grape's my favorite. I do like grape. And also, I do like strawberry. I like strawberry too. So strawberry's my favorite, and then grape, and then green, which is like apple. So I like all those too. Those are good. Anyway, the new, as I saw a squirrel just then, it was like, squirrel. The new Mortal Kombat movie. It looks real. I've seen a few scenes from it. I guess it's like a kind of a reboot. Because we need those, right? We need reboots. Let's think of all the successful movies we've had in the past. And we'll throw a couple non-successful movies. Remember that Godzilla movie that bombed? Let's do that again. Because it works so well in Japan. Let's try that. Not a fan of Godzilla. But I did watch the most recent one, and holy crap. Man, that must have been a hoot to work on. Anyway, a hoot. So, purple. Let's go back to purple. I just messed that up. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, what am I doing next? I'm not going to do anything around. I just wanted to kind of test the markers as I hit my camera. Did I just blow your mind? Let's go ahead and we're going to go like this. And we're going to zoom in a little bit, just a little bit. We're zooming in. We're going to have you go up just a little bit. Sorry about this. I had it set. My foot hit it. Okay. Okay, let's do a little bit darker blue. Let's do a darker blue. Darker blue is going to be nice. Darker blue is so nice. La, 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 la. I love markers so much. Markers make me smile. Markers make me smile. All right. What do I do next? Let's see the black. Black tip. Let's do a little bit of maintenance over here on the edge. A little bit. This is really nice, guys. I gotta admit, this marker, I mean, I've got, like I said, I've got a collection. I've got a little bit of a problem. Yes, problem. Yeah, this is nice. These are nice. I mean, for that much money, you could buy, I paid $20. I paid, what, $30? Okay, so let's say $30. $30 for 48. With shipping from Amazon. And I could have bought, I think, a set of 5 Copics. It's like almost $50. $50 for 5 of them, G. I mean, come on. You know what? I crack on the Copics. But you know, I do like me some Copics. Copics are good. But as an alternative to add to your collection, because those of you who use markers on a regular basis know, if you don't have a big company like Disney or Pixar or one of those companies purchasing your Copics and you're flipping the bill yourself, you're going to look for an alternative, and that's what I did. I mean, I had originally... Look at these. These are Soho Studio. Let's look at Play-Doh Lavender. Okay. These are nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're nice. Soho Studio. Nice marker. I didn't do a review on these. Again, Tampo print. And they've got, you know, to where they don't roll down because they're square. These are nice. I mean, you can't scratch these off. I don't like the fine tip. I don't like it. I do like that. So let's go in. Let's do a little bit here. I don't even know if there's anything coming out. Yeah, little bit coming out. Oh, it's very pale. These are like very, very pale, not really saturated. So let's go. I don't even know what I would use that pale lavender for. Twin Art Sketch Marker. Okay, that's a little bit better. You know what my philosophy is? Find what works, and it's probably going to be expensive. And then find something that is not expensive. Yeah. Use every tool at your disposal. However, I don't really recommend. I mean, these are okay. Got these from the $5 store. 5 and below. $5 store. My wife hates it when I say it like that. It's not the $5 store. I'm like, huh, got you to say it. You said $5 store. And she's like, shush. Woman, I would never say that. I would never say that. Not realistic. Yeah, these are fun. Fun with markers. Fun with markers on a Monday. So tomorrow is May the 4th be with you. So you're going to see a lot of Star Wars stuff out there. I'll probably post a few things on my Instagram. At laserbeameyes.com. I'm just kidding. That's not me. Just look up Michael Clarida Arts. You'll find me. I'm there. I'm everywhere, G. I tried out that new Artfall, I think it's called. I think it's called Artfall. The new social media site for artists. It's okay. I mean, at first they were like, please bear with us as we're getting overloaded by the billions of people that are signing up. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's do this. Yeah, so I'll post some stuff and have some fun, and I highly recommend that you find whatever you're going to do, and I this is what I mean, as an artist, you know, find that one or two or three or four, whatever, thing that you can utilize, that delivery device, that delivery idea that you can latch onto and do something small, you know, every day, just to help you. You know, you have your sketchbook. Some people do creatures. Some people go and draw from life. Some people can't concentrate on one thing at one time, and we have to do multiple things every freaking day just to be able to keep our sanity. But I don't know who those people are. I've heard of them. You know, did I just hear a squirrel outside? Anyway, so yeah, find that delivery device, that idea to kind of help you. One guy said, draw the same thing every day for a year. And he did. And he drew this crane and he did multiple illustrations, and it was really cool. I mean, to see him, he was on the YouTubes, right? Okay, where am I at with this? So, do I recommend the Ohuhu markers? Heck no. I'm just kidding. Ohuhu markers are wonderful. I mean, my gosh. What? I didn't expect this. I mean, I'm like, where's my Copic? I need my Copic. Copic markers. Copic. Let's find the Copic. Here we go. So here's my Copic marker. I've given him a lot of love. And look, you can intermix the Copics with the Ohuhus and yeah, and add it to your collection, man. Wonderful. They're not a sponsor, by the way. This is just on the recommendation of somebody that I got these markers. Not a sponsor. Ohuhu. Not a sponsor. If you want to send me something, then yeah, I'll review your stuff again. But yeah, gosh, for this many markers, for 30 bucks? I mean, they could have sucked and I would have probably still used them. Look at all that markery goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's my Macho Randy's. That sucks. All right, so the last stage in the illustration of what I typically do, I'll put in some highlights and stuff like that. It'd be really nice. So I'm going to probably work on this, and I'll put you guys on time-lapse just to, you know, I'm not going to finish all of the rest of this stuff, I don't think, because I'm lazy. And, you know, I'll post this on social media. So I did want to point out as the last part in the illustration, these, I need to buy some more of these. These are dry markers. You're like, what? Dry markers. So you would go over them. Look. They're dry markers, dudes. Look at this. And if, like, there's an area that you want to warm up, like right here, they don't go down as colored pencils. It's a, I don't know what it is. It is a dry media, but you go in and then you can come back over it. Hold on. Gosh, patience, man. Don't push me. Hold on, hold on, hold on. So I put all this over it to warm everything up. Hold, please. And maybe I'll put a blue over here to cool it down. You need to cool your jets, homie. Now watch. And see how it goes in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my secret weapon. My fist. Just kidding. The blender. This came with a blender. A blender, not the kind that you do daiquiris in. I don't drink, so I don't really know how to make a daiquiri. But this says the colorless blender. Whatcha? And now it takes that blue and it turns it into, it just pushes it into the paper. It's wonderful. Now, unfortunately, it does pick up a little bit there from the colorless blender. But as you see, these Koh-i-Noor dry markers. Look at that! Look at just the depth you get. Look at it. My wife saw this particular illustration and she said, "You know what, Mike? That looks like your mom." And I'm like, "What? Woman? Woman?" You know, because I say that to my wife so often. I do say woman. I never say that. That's something you don't say, by the way, dudes. You don't say woman. She said it looked like my mom. Of course, my mom passed away in 2012. I miss her a lot. I had to go to a celebration of life service on Saturday, which really, again, you know, is one of our friends. And seeing that really made me reflect upon my mom. So now every time I see this illustration, I'm going to see my mom because of my wife. Thanks, wife! Gosh! I'm just kidding. It was actually a very nice thing. Give her some eyelashes. You know what, guys? If you're not having fun drawing, you're not doing it right. If you're always stressed out, if you're like, "I just can't get it right," then you need to take a chill pill, homie. You need to take a walk. You know, you need to get loose before you get better. Get loose. You know? So that's what I wanted to kind of go through today with you guys, the review of the Ohuhu marker. Wonderful product. Ohuhu. Ohuhu. I'm probably doing it all wrong. I'm going to buy some more of them, and I'm going to do a full illustration with them. So leave a comment down below. I will, there's no affiliate there's no affiliate links. I will leave the link in the description below. And I don't get any money from any of it. I just want you guys to have the information. You know? If you guys did see some of these are like super awesome brush pens. Got these from, what's the name of that place? Jet Pens? Jetpens.com. I like them. Not the best, not my fave. And you're like, you don't have a lot of faves. Well, I don't know. Those Ohuhu markers are really nice. Those kind of did it for me. I'm still going to stick with my Copics, but honestly, for the money, you know what? The industry standards, they're starting to shake in their boots. They're shaking in their boots. You know, you have all these other companies that are manufacturing products that are cutting into their margins and their price and their their profit margins. Wacom. I owned Wacom for years, and then I partnered with XP Pen, and they sent me some products, and I reviewed them, and then I did some illustration work for them, and then they turned around and made me the representative at the FMX 21 Animation Expo in Tokyo. So, for those of you who are attending that, I will be one of the illustration presenters, and I got to get up at 4:30, actually 4 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and I'm going to do a Q&A. So I did an illustration for them about about a month ago, and I used their wonderful product. And part of the review was very cool, and so that's really cool. So why I brought that up is the fact that, you know, years ago I wouldn't even have considered XP Pen as a viable digital tablet resource. You know, I had my Wacom. I've used Wacom since 1997. Yeah, I'm that old. And gosh, you know, who would have thought? But ooh, markers. 2 big ones. Pow, 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 pow. Big thumbs up. Great saturation, great quality, great spring of the brush. Price point is on there. Price point is on point. They do have coupons. A coupon. You can get a coupon for the Ohuhu markers on the Amazonians. And if you have Prime, you get free shipping. So I will be purchasing those markers again. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you liked this video, had fun. And I will be doing just a little bit more. I don't want to be doing too much with this because I kind of like the way it looks. Illustration. And that'll be it for today. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe and share. Please. For the love of goodness. Please. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.